So what you just told me before we got on was that episode 91. What you just told me is that aliens over Catalina Island, and you got a guy that's tracking something. Is that correct? Is that all right to say?
Yeah, a buddy of mine who lives out of Huntington was telling me that he's been capturing a lot of activity with some new security stuff that they have where you can track anything that moves in the sky and record it. And I'll ask him to send me some of the videos.
I would love to see that. And are we allowed to post any of those videos?
Yeah, for sure.
We can. We can post this right here on this fucking podcast right here.
There's actually a guy that is frequent on paranormal, caught on camera.
Yeah.
He lives in fucking Long Beach, and this guy, he's a little fucking loony though. He says because his aura is like in certain wavelengths, or his chakras are lined up.
Oh shit! Once you start saying chakra,
listen. He
once you start saying chakra, man,
he's captured so many videos above Long Beach with like weird anomalies that don't move in the normal way. And at the end, he says a little like yogi prayer or some shit, and he's like, "Thank you." Thank you for talking to me today. It's the weirdest fucking shit.
It's not that guy with the train. You seen that viral video with the guy with the train? No. When a train goes by. Okay, never mind. There's a guy with it's a viral video. There's a guy with a train. Well, no, a train is going by. He goes, "Oh God, look how special this is. This train is going."
Was there a grown choo-choo?
That guy's a little cuckoo.
Sorry,
choo-choo.
I shouldn't even brought that. That was dumb.
Yeah, it was off topic.
Off topic.
Focus.
You know what? I should focus. I need to focus more. That is a fact.
Yeah, you need to align your chakras so you can sit down and focus.
At least I didn't skew into porn, though. I always skew in the porn.
Yeah, somehow you always skew into porn.
Yeah, it always goes in the porn.
Oh, there it goes, and now we're...
now we're into porn.
No. I want to talk about the giant skeletons found in Catalina. The giants.
Yes.
Giant skeletons or giant dicks. You were just talking about porn.
That, too.
So
I want to talk about the whole race of the Anunnaki and their
Catalina.
Let's back up. This whole thing started because we were outside and we were talking about how Catalina Island in the past has found. There was a scientist out there doing excavations, and he actually literally found bones of giants that were an average of 11 to like 12 feet fucking tall.
Bones of giants.
And there's literally documented old newspapers that they have pictures of these things, and the story goes that he called the Smithsonian Center, who people say is owned by the government, those that want to hide the truth from everybody, but the Smithsonian Center went down there, took all of the bones, and they've never been seen since.
So what they're saying is almost, because we were taught that everybody was short and small, right? So now they're starting to find bones of giants. But that makes sense because there's always giants in every civilization, right?
In every
Hence the NBA.
Again, in every age. Nah, but not 12 feet tall. 7 feet, yeah, not 12.
Right. But is there multiple or just like one? There's always one.
There's multiple
because it's called elephantitis, right? You know, you're gonna get some giants. If I'm going to be the skeptic.
Well, I mean, elephantitis is multiple things. There's a guy who has a giant nutsack of elephantitis.
Yeah, that's me.
And he could sit on it.
Yeah.
Elephantitis is normally something that afflicts one part of your body.
I have elephantitis, but only in the shaft. Okay.
Focus.
So, anyways, we were talking about it before class started. In every ancient religion, it seems that there is always a myth about a race of giants. Like there's the giants were the watchers that came down to Earth,
right.
Or there's Prometheus, who was a giant that came down to Earth, and all these giants were the ones that were technologically advanced, who taught the race of humans about medicine, about art, about culture, religion, warfare. And the gods get pissed off at them, and they end up being smacked down and cast down here.
Okay, so I'm gonna be the dumb guy brain in this,
okay.
And this will be interesting. It almost seems like every time, like, because we keep getting taller, we keep getting bigger, in every civilization, right? And I feel like this has happened already. All of this has happened already. This technology, all of this has already happened already. So the guys everyone's starting to get bigger.
But you mean happened here on Earth or happened in other planets and brought down here to Earth?
Let's just say Earth. Let's just play Earth.
What about different dimensions
Let's
of Earth?
only play Earth today.
Okay. This dimension?
Yeah, because we got to keep
He wants to focus.
Yeah, focus. I only want to focus. Let's only say Earth.
Okay.
But there is the giant bones, which I 100% believe. Are those aliens or are those humans?
Well, there's
or
different
is
theories,
it one and the
right?
same?
So there's different theories. I mean, as Jenna was alluding towards, there's a book that I've read called the Book of Enoch, right?
Yeah.
Copy that.
And the Book of Enoch,
Should have been in the Bible.
I believe, was found during like the Dead Sea Scrolls and whatnot, and it's supposedly the true Bible that hasn't been edited, right? But it's about the Book of Enoch, and Enoch basically was like a grandfather descendant of Noah, right? So his grandfather, something like that.
Yeah, it was one of the books that were omitted from the Old Testament.
But basically, it talks about, as Jenna had mentioned before, the Watchers, right? God created Earth, and he created these Watchers. And these Watchers are supposed to watch over Earth, essentially angels. Well, these angels came down and saw some of our women, are like, God damn, some of those Latinas,
He's like, I want to do them in the butt.
Hot diggity damn, right? So
See, am I an alien? Because I always love Latinas.
So they came down and they fornicated with the human races, and supposedly that's where the Nephilim.
Did you just say Latinas are not humans?
Huh?
No, he said they like the Latinas out of all of them.
Did you just say you guys aren't humans?
Yes, we are not humans.
So
no, we are all star children.
So the angels come down,
yeah,
and then they fornicate with they hump the fucking the women of the earth,
daughters
and then
of men.
supposedly the offspring were giants, right?
Yes.
But in the book of Enoch had a close relationship with God, right? So God comes down and tells him, hey, I want you to go to the Watchers, which are the angels, and tell them that my rain is coming down upon them and their children will die. So imagine, dude, you're a nobody, just a normal fucking human being on earth, and God tells you, go to these angels and their giant fucking children and tell them they're fucked because I'm going to come fucking kill them. And I think that's where the flood comes. So the whole flood theory comes.
Yeah.
And they're saying that God was mad at the earth and what had been created. But there's also theories that is kind of cool where this goes a little far-fetched in my opinion, but they talk about like fairies, and we were able to communicate with trees and a lot more of Mother Nature. We can communicate, and there's a lot more advanced.
We as humans.
And supposedly this is where Atlantis was real. But during the flood, it fucking wiped everything out, and that's where a lot of the ancient people, the technology, and all that had disappeared, and we kind of started from ground zero.
I like the starter from ground zero. I think about that all the time. I feel that.
Yeah, but you don't think about God coming in and go like, nope.
I definitely don't think about that. What a trip, though.
Yeah.
But that's the Book of Enoch, though.
Because
that fights the Bible, right?
No, it doesn't fight the Bible. It was a book that was omitted from the Bible. It was originally in the Old Testament, and it's, in fact, in a lot of like the ancient Jewish mysticism, like the Kabbalah, the Book of Enoch is in there. So.
Is Enoch a Jew? That sounds like a Jewish name.
Yeah, we were all
Jews back
then. They were all Jews before there was Christ.
You guys are all Jews.
Do you think they said, hey, don't Jew that guy?
I knew that guy. My father would lose his mind when he'd say that.
But if they were all Jews, do you think that term was around? Hey, don't Jew me.
Probably not. There's no way that.
Give me a fair price. Don't Jew me down.
Well, I used to say don't Jew me when playing Street Fighter. I didn't know that. You know what that was when don't Jew me when playing Street Fighter? You go there, and then you throw them.
Yeah.
And you throw them. You don't remember that?
I remember Street Fighter.
You guys aren't young enough.
I don't understand the "don't Jew me" as because that was always
we used to say that.
Term.
I know. I know. I remember saying that to my father because I was telling him that I was playing Street Fighter at this arcade, right? And I was like, "Man, this motherfucker was Jewing me down." He's like, "What'd you just fucking say?" He's like, "What'd you just say?"
I don't understand how that term, because like we always used it as a term of like.
Well, you're cheating.
Like
you're
Jew,
cheating.
Yeah, to Jew or Jip is to Jew somebody, like the derogative term is to be a cheapskate to them, or to try to I don't know, get something in a cheaper
like
cost,
jipping
right?
or Jewing. Yeah, that was part.
I always thought the jip was to be cheating somebody.
Hey, look,
it doesn't matter.
So from giants to angels to Jewing.
Yeah,
and then I'll bring it back to porn.
Yeah,
focus.
Okay, so So the Nephilim are the giants that were walking the earth and that God decided to obliterate with that flood, right? Now, there's been multiple skeletons found throughout the earth, like excavations, the same way they would dig up dinosaur bones. They've dug up giant bones all over. Now, there's a theory that it could also be the Homo giantopithecus.
The Homo giantopithecus.
Yeah, the largest ape. It was supposed to be an ancient ape that stood upright.
Are they related to
Homo
epithecus?
Yeah, Pillicolotopus.
No, I think it's Homo epithecus. Is that what it is?
It's Giantopithecus.
I remember looking that one up recently.
Yeah.
Homo like giant penises.
Homo giant penises.
I like how they're all homos.
Sure you do.
But yeah, so there's that argument. They go, no, it's the ancient giant ape or whatever, and they've only found so many of those bones. But then that leads up to the point that if there's these giant apes, then why aren't there just little giant apes now? And if there's not still giant apes now that are walking upright, then how do we explain the people finding all those big gigantic feet from the big feet and the yetis? And
all right, let me bring us back.
Yeah.
So where we came from was aliens, and now we're at
the argument of is it the Nephilim or is it a Yeti?
Now we're at the Yeti. Let's the Yeti's too much. Let's stay at the aliens. We got to stay at the aliens because what I want to get at, right? What I want to get at is the aliens that your buddy claims that have gone over the island.
Well, they're lights. You can't really say aliens.
Okay, they're islands or UFOs, which is unidentified flying object.
Now they're
right?
called UAPs.
UAPs.
What's that one?
Nobody calls them UFOs anymore.
Unidentified.
Oh, forgive me.
What's that stand for?
I believe it's unidentified aerial phenomena.
Okay.
Why is it not called a UFO though?
Unidentified
flying object. They can't guarantee if it's
that's kind of the big conspiracy right now is that the government's trying to change that terminology for whatever reason, but like Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, I don't know if you guys know this, but he is a huge alien advocate, and he claims it's a little far-fetched. His claim is that on his own he figured out what all these different UFOs are, right? So like the Tic Tacs, the saucer shapes, some
what about
of the
orb ones.
So he claims he figured out what they were, right? And he wrote a book, but he said, holy shit, before I release this book, I should probably get okay from the government to put this out, right? Like, who the fuck thinks that way? Like, oh, I'm going to ask the government if it's okay for me to put this out, right? So he started to reach out to government people, and his claim is that he was so smart and intelligent that he unlocked the mystery, right? So because the government knew he unlocked the mystery, they started reaching out to him, and he just went into these different meetings and started climbing up the ranks higher and higher and higher. So now he formed this organization called Something to the Stars, and he actually has a lot of like high-end
They actually
scientists.
reached out to him.
They reached out to him.
The government.
The government.
Supposedly.
But everything
This is the guy that wrote the song. What's my age again?
No, I know.
What's my age again?
I know who he is.
But you have to watch his videos. I mean, some of the stuff he talks about is thought-provoking, but then some of the other shit, like the biggest podcast right now,
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan was drilling him, like, why can't you just come out and tell us what it is you know? Tell me what this is. And he goes, well, I don't want to jump into that right now. I can't. I'm working with people that are within the government. So he kind of like dances around the fucking answer every time.
Okay, but there are some answers that he feels he's absolute and can say, and
but they always do.
And some
cannot.
he can't.
And that's what makes
But that's
it.
the mystery.
That's the mystery. But do you know who Lazar is?
Oh, yeah.
Last name Lazar. What's his first name?
Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
That one is very interesting because, see, with DeLong, right? Mm-hmm. You can be like, oh God, he's so vague about so many things. With Lazar, he's not very vague. Like
no, he comes
really,
straight out
and then
with it.
in every interview, everything is the same. So that's very interesting. But what happens to debunk some of the stuff and where skeptics come into play is where this Tom DeLonge gets in because he's so vague about fucking everything. And then you ask him, so well, why would they come to you? And here's the answer that all these fucking people say. They go, why do you think? right?
I can't talk about that.
I can't talk about it. I
don't want to get into that right now. We'll talk about it at a later date.
Right. Or the government won't allow it or shit like that, right? So if you get rid of all that verbiage, all you guys trying to come out with this thing, get rid of those verbiage, because people like me who are a skeptic will be like, you'd be like, you're bullshit. But the Bob Lazar one, that one blows my mind a little bit.
He's pretty interesting to watch. I mean, one of my, I would call it my blessings, is being able to read people, right?
Yeah.
So being able to go into a business meeting and look at someone and be like, we got to cut this thing short. This guy is just not looking me in the eye. He's shaking his shoes or he's clicking his pen. My business partner's oblivious to that shit, right? But with him, like he's pretty legit when he talks, man. Like he has direct answers that are consistent across the board. He's not sitting there being vague. He's not sitting there saying, well, I don't want to talk about that. Like he gives you direct fucking answers, to what he was involved in, what he only saw, because he was in charge of the reverse engineering part of the core gyro system that they found inside the spaceship. And there was another crew that he would walk across into rooms and he would see hangars and whatnot, and he would see other departments. And the government wouldn't really allow them to speak with one another, but there was a couple times he was able to go actually into the craft, into a different area, and he would describe what he saw. But he'll tell you flat out, that wasn't my expertise, but here's what I fucking saw.
Right. But see, sometimes when you go, if the government really wanted them to shut up, well, they could shut them up. They'd off them.
You know what I think, though? I think the government peppers in people like that, and people like DeLong and stuff to be like, hey, eventually this shit is coming out. Mm-hmm. Eventually these guys are going to, in order to keep the world from going through mass hysteria, that the aliens are here, we need to at least have a good 50% of the general public believe that there's something out there and have some sort of
Because if the aliens were here, there would be mass hysteria.
Yeah.
100%. People would stop going to work.
That's what
people would stop going to work.
That's what I don't comprehend. I mean, why do people think that if aliens were really here, that people would flip the fuck out and there'd be chaos? And
I can guarantee in a lot of the world, like you go into places that are highly religious, like countries that are highly religious. And I don't mean this to sound racist in any sense of the word, but I don't think that the Muslim culture is going to do well with that, just because it's so, they're so religious and they're so strict on all their laws. To have any sort of thing completely change their way of thinking is going to take a lot to teach the mass public that, okay, things are kind of changing, and maybe
here's
quickly.
The thing that gets me.
I don't.
They'll start beating the shit out of their women again.
You realize what's going on
the
right
Muslims,
now?
Again, the Muslims will just start fucking the women up, dude.
There's a. I don't think you don't know.
Hey, which Muslim? We going black Muslim? What are we going? We going Middle Eastern Muslim?
I'm just talking the far extremist of the groups.
Which one? That one?
I don't know.
Or the black one? Or the black one?
Which one does what?
Oh, I don't know. I just like
you like doing the turkey noises.
I just like putting you into the thing. All right.
Okay, but here's the thing that gets me, guys.
Okay.
Every religion that has more control, right? So you talk about Muslims, you talk about Catholicism, Christians, and branches off of Christians, which is 50 billion ones, right? Here's the thing that always gets me. Like, they talk about God, and they talk about his power, and they talk about things he's done in the past, burning bushes, speaking to people, his chariot of fire, roaring, bringing down Sodom and Gomorrah. But yet, when we bring in the word alien, people look at that as if no. Like there are no real things about aliens. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. You just told me you believe in flying beings with these big blue cloaks and big white wings,
right?
But you don't believe that an advanced being is out there. And here's the thing that I always question.
I don't understand. You don't believe it, you believe that an advanced being created you in only this world, but you don't believe that there are advanced beings that created multiple.
Because what they're thinking, the alien is the is the guy with the no genitals and this long gangly thing.
But I think like the Renaissance era and the not even medieval, but like Renaissance and all that, when they started painting the Michelangelos and they started depicting like what God is and what God looks like, that depiction in everyone's head is what everyone sticks with. Everyone believes that God is this Zeus-looking motherfucker who's on a cloud in a fucking in a sea, and
been doing fucking crunches his whole life.
But I question like if God did indeed come down and let's say he was an advanced being, if he was right in front of you, how the fuck would you know it? Like what does God look like, right? And that's my argument to a lot of people is tell me what God looks like.
God is a dog. Because everybody loves dogs.
And God backwards.
Yeah, I bet too.
Oh, hey, damn, look at that. Well,
you never heard that before.
I never actually thought about that. Holy shit. See, dumb guy blows your mind. But if God is what? But what's God? See, everyone just has a picture or something up of God. Everybody's God is different. There's so many different gods.
Well, the Indian people have over 1 million gods.
Yeah.
They have over 1 million? The Indian people?
1 million.
Yeah, but they're stupid, though.
Million.
Why?
Yeah, but Indian people are stupid.
They just have it.
I know. I'm just kidding.
I mean, they have a deity just like we did, and before the Christianity, we're all pagans. They had a deity to help explain every.
But it's funny when like one
religion
will think another religion is wrong, or
you guys realize you're all sitting there praying to something that you've never seen and never known.
Well, but doesn't a lot of people shit on Scientology? But
I was just thinking about Scientology today.
It's really it's pretty similar though.
But that's a religion based upon sci-fi,
on aliens and everything we're talking about.
Exactly.
Right
I mean, might be right.
Yeah, we're about to close that pretty soon. Yeah. But every religious person. Well, over the years, the religious nut has diminished. I've noticed. Yeah, and maybe just because I'm getting older.
It's become the conspiracy theorist nut. It's taken over.
I guess so. But when I was younger, religion was a big deal. Everywhere. It was a big deal between Catholics, Christians, Muslims, whatever the fuck you go through. Now, as I get older, the religion is not pushed upon like it used to be.
Well, in the rest of the world, it is. There's a lot of places.
Of course, I know it is, but
I think it is. I think it's
that
just
brings me to a conspiracy of the alien.
Surrounded yourself with nowadays.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right.
I could go to my grandma's house and get the same rhetoric that I did when I was 100%. 10 years old.
You're right,
but I choose not to. Instead, I choose to come home tired as fuck from a long day's work and talk about aliens in my neighbor's fucking podcast.
We're all hammered. Let's talk about aliens.
I like you guys said, hey, come over and have some shots. It's like, cool. And it's like, hey, you want to do a podcast? I was like, no, not really.
Hey, let's talk about aliens.
Me and her talk about aliens all the time.
Yeah, we do.
And it's fun because
I feel like I'm the one that opened his eyes.
Well, because she's on the book, and I'm more literal about it.
I am too, man. But again, I've seen some weird shit in the skies myself, right? 100%, right?
Yeah.
Can I say what it was? No. But again, what I talked about earlier, the one thing that I always go back to is throughout the entire fucking world, from the very beginning of writings, which is the Sumerian times before the Egyptians, 8, 12, 15,000 BC, right? Like, since the very beginning of time, everyone talked about something or someone coming from the skies, right? Deities or gods. And like I mentioned, it wasn't easy as, hey, let me bust out my pen and paper and write this shit down for others to see. They had to go out and get berries and make the colors and then draw shit on caves or walls.
Plus, they didn't communicate. So everybody that didn't communicate still had the same thing of something coming down from the sky.
Well, that's the point, though. It's all over throughout the world, throughout the very beginning of time. Somebody came down with that advanced technology, right? And that's what I kind of believe in now. Is kind of the misinterpreted things in the Bible and old writings. It wasn't a dragon from the sky.
It wasn't Jacob's ladder. It was a beam.
Now, real quick, do you feel that this technology has existed already and we imploded and we're just starting over?
There's theories of that too, man. Like excavations that are going so far down into the earth that they're finding like civilizations that carbon dating goes back like 30 million fucking years ago.
Right.
And they're baffled. They're like, how can this be? Like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
The only thing that made me feel that way is when you see the old artwork and you see the etchings in the wall, right? Or some of this artwork, they're perfect circles, right? Now, you ask anybody, just draw me a perfect circle. Draw it to me right now, right? And you're telling me they didn't have tools back then?
They didn't have protractors?
Yeah, right. Like, just do it right now. Draw a perfect circle.
You could make a protractor. You just put two sticks together and go to make a perfect circle.
And etch it in stone?
Well, they could have...
You're telling me you didn't have tools?
Put a...
No, they had
some type
tools.
of like nail or center point, some vine, and then just...
In stone.
In stone.
In stone? I want to see you do that.
I saw you.
Right
I want you to do it.
I saw you almost chop your thumb off on Catalina Island, etching our initials in a rock.
Yeah,
you romantic.
We were
so romantic.
We were
it was
in Catalina, and
adorable.
I was fucking hammered.
Got it for his 40th
I was
birthday.
taking my fucking switchblade out, and I was fucking trying to carve our names in the stone.
Writing my J all backwards.
Yeah. I wrote the J backwards because I'm brilliant. Because I'm a.
It was adorable though. But no, they definitely had tools.
Right. My point is that I feel all this technology, this shit right here, this already existed. We already existed. Now, there's that one too, the multi-universe where we already existed.
I believe in the
man.
multiverse. We're just living a deja
That's for
vu
another.
over
That's
and
for another
over
day.
and over.
Do you have
and
thoughts on the
over.
multi-universe?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I want to hear that.
That's.
I want to hear that on the next one then.
Man, we got the best neighbor.
I know, man.
Like, hey, you look tired, motherfucker. Come in and get a shot. Oh, by the way, you want to do another podcast?
By the way, I'm gonna put you on camera. Let's do a shot and get out.
All right. I'm not gonna do a shot of that. That looks horrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. But I've been doing it because we ran out of old Tullamore Dew, man. Here, baby, you can't just on the out. You can't just bail.
Well, you don't have a shot glass one.
Sure, I do. Watch this. Shot glass. That's how it's done. You want one of these, Alex?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, you got to drink that garbage. Here.
I like when you're buzzy and you smile more.
Do I really?
Yeah.
Do I not smile enough?
No.
Really? I'm on a...
When I first met you, you were a hard read. Like
Really?
you were
Wow.
really fucking hard to read.
I hear that a lot, man.
Because and it's not that you try to act tough or anything like that. It's just I've noticed, like, even Charlie, the first time we hung out and we were drinking, she was like, "Hey, Ian's funny," and I was like, "Yeah, that's weird, huh?"
I hear that a lot, man. I guess I have a resting fucking bitch face,
resting
man.
bitch face.
I have resting bitch face.
You just got to pull that stick out of your ass every once in a while.
I guess so, man.
It's such
The
a
stick
nice
feels
bud,
good
though.
if you...
Cheers.
Okay, never
Cheers,
mind.
darling. Stick feels good.
It still feels good if you jerk me off on the other side. All right, hey, cheers.
Just a knuckle.
Oh, I hope you boys are listening.
Oh, wait, down the hatch.